Morning, boys.
Morning.
Gonna have a bit of a team meeting about a couple of issues we've had going on in the shed. Not issues, just try and find some solutions to some problems we've had.
Yep.
Before we start, we might go through some of the organisational values we work to here. Does anyone know any?
Keep areas clean as we work.
Okay, that's a good one. That would come under safety values we work to, and it would also come under the ISO compliant values we work to.
Client satisfaction.
Yes.
So getting jobs done on time, make sure the client's happy with their work quality and speed.
Making sure they're happy with the way we put it up.
Yep.
That includes our site crews.
Definitely.
Yep. There's the acknowledgement of the local traditional landowners. So obviously we do a lot of work on site. We do a lot of work in maybe highly sensitive areas to the traditional landowners. So you've always got to be aware of that. Make sure the right permissions have been granted before we start any works. I mean, that's not always our problem. A lot of the time that's the company hiring us issue, but we need to make sure they've performed due diligence.
Yep.
Another value we work to here is an inclusive environment out on the floor.
Yep.
So, no, well, that's good. Well, with them in mind, we'll go through some of these points and see if we can come up with some solutions. So the first one is to produce enough N24 mast sections to meet the workload demands while also building stock.
Right.
How do you feel we're going with that?
Well, at the moment I think we're going alright at it. Could we just be a little better, could go a little faster too.
Yep.
Could probably get at least a little bit more spillages out during the week. Maybe at least 2 out a week. I think that would be pretty good.
Yep.
How
do you guys feel about the third parties, contractors we use?
I think it's good. The amount of workload we have coming in, and the departments between renewables and comms and defence being slightly split up and having a larger workload from the comms and defence than just the renewables now.
Yep.
I think it's a necessity, especially with the limited shed space, and the availability we have of actually employing welders and TAs that are at a sufficient level to produce and work to the quality that we need. As you're aware, we've had the issues with some TAs, some welders not living up to standards or expectations, which I think could also be a contributing factor to why we've been struggling to get ahead in our mast sections and other areas of the work we do.
Yep.
So as the Cameron said, I think we can definitely get more sections out in the space we have and the time we have provided. But I think we could definitely use an extra worker so that we can have either always 2 people on our jigs and sufficient amount of TAs prepping the steel and the round bar for the boys on the jigs to fabricate.
Yeah, I think you got to realise that. Like, I think a lot of management has looked at we need another boilermaker. They don't realise another boilermaker needs another TA.
100%.
They go hand in hand. If you don't have another TA, they're not going to have the material there to keep producing.
That's right. And realistically, it's not always worth getting a qualified boilermaker who has large, fab experience in technical fabrication or pipe work if they're just going to be sitting there welding sections.
Yeah.
Realistically, they're probably better off getting another TA, as you said, to keep up with the workload, and just a certified welder that is happy to sit there and weld sections.
Yeah. So, one thing that Steve wanted me to make sure with companies like Fly Brothers, which obviously they're an umbrella company,
Yep.
And even our contractors, is that you guys don't think we're going to run out of work. I think the aim eventually is going to be for the R&D side to all be before tier.
Yep.
I mean, sections you can train people to build somewhere else. R&D
Right.
needs to be done on site and in the hand with the design team.
Yep.
Otherwise, it doesn't work, as we've seen before.
Definitely.
So I think what our aim here is to get enough stock up so we're in front to allow somebody else to take the reins so we can move into R&D work.
Definitely.
Which is good for you as an apprentice because I don't just want you to sit on the gym
No.
for the next 3 years.
I feel if we get like at least another one in, or at least another two, we could train them both up to be able to jig.
Yep.
Which allows me as the apprentice to go further, kind of in the shed, to learn new stuff.
Definitely.
Have to go.
What would you consider a good stock level? I think 150 in stock at any times. That's 3 towers basically.
Definitely, I think that at a very minimum, like, you know, if you're getting down to 150 sections, I think we should be making more.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, in previous years when we had a lot larger workforce, and we were focused more on the renewable sides of sections, you know, what we had 600, 700, 800 sections stock up there.
Yeah, I think at one point they had 1900.
Yeah, like, which is obviously overkill, and as I know, we pay tax on that, so, you know, it's not practical to have stupid amounts of stock, large amounts of stock sitting there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it costs more than making them as we go kind of thing.
Yep.
But I also think with the increasing steel prices, and the availability issues we're having of getting certain materials or certain parts of the jobs, yeah, I think 150 sections, if not more, are definitely a good stock level.
Yeah.
Especially if we have to outsource and train external companies to do the jigs, that can take time. And even once they're competent in it, it still takes, you know, 6 months for them to get up to a speed of fabrication where they're fluent and their sections are to standard.
Yeah. I think 150 in stocks. Obviously, if we go above that, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
There's nothing
definitely.
wrong with that.
Just have maybe between 3 and 5 cows up there in
Yeah.
stock. That'd probably be a good number. Probably now like just in case we need another one.
Yeah.
In the field. When one is sitting there ready to go.
We'll wait for that then. Start off on that one. Second point is how to improve housekeeping within the workshop. Now that's to meet safety and ISO standards. I think you've all met the new safety officer.
Yeah.
He's enthusiastic.
That's a word for it.
Well, I'm open to suggestions.
I mean, besides every individual taking responsibility in their own work area,
Yep.
I think we should have a designated time on a Friday or a Monday. I mean, I think Friday's a better one. No one wants to come in on a Monday morning to clean up.
No, and I think I actually thought about that, and Monday morning is not good because if we have bosses or somebody walk through on a Friday afternoon or over the weekend, the shed looks terrible.
That's right. I think a Friday morning is a good option.
Yep.
You go Friday afternoon, people quite often have plans for the weekend to leave early or, you know, to leave at lunchtime. You don't end up with everyone there at the same time.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there because we had that Friday.
That's right.
So a lot of people leave lunchtime early on a Friday. No one wants to clean up their bay.
Yeah.
Stuff gets
Yeah,
left.
yeah. So I think we could aim for a Friday morning and dedicate, you know, half an hour or even an hour if the shed's, you know, a mess, and we just have a thorough clean-up
Yeah.
of, you know, all the bays, the communal areas as such. You know, the bandsaw, the drill press all gets cleaned, the kitchen gets cleaned.
Yeah.
And then besides that, you know, midweek is your responsibility to clean up your own after jobs as needed.
Yeah.
Like when I first started out here, it was always at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. You always had to do a 30-minute clean-up, which took you to about 2:30 to do. That was shed clean-up for the whole week. That's when I first started. But since then, it's got a bit.
And quite often,
Yeah,
but exactly the problem that people aren't here on the Friday.
Yeah. that's the same thing.
Well, and the fact we've been flat out.
That's right, yeah. And we have been short on workforce, so
Yeah.
I've just done, you know, we're on par with our workload for work.
Yeah, which is why we're now bringing this back.
Definitely.
We got pulled up on it and pinged a few times in the office. I raised the fact that we're often working up to a deadline.
Totally.
So, anyone noticed anything leads, anything like that that's dangerous? People pretty good with it?
I think it's pretty good. I definitely think we could be more thorough with our test and tag register, whether we set up an actual register or we have, you know, set a written process or an agreed upon process for, you know, new tools, new grinders, new leads, all that kind of stuff, and slings to be tested and tagged before they go into use, before they even enter outside of the shed.
Yeah.
They go from dispatch straight to that. So you eliminate any possibility of, oh hey, there's a new grinder in the cupboard in the box, my grinder just broke, I go get one not tagged.
Yep.
So I think maybe look at having something there that will help mitigate that problem.
One thing that got raised with me by the safety officer, and I agree if you boys agree,
Yep.
is the retractable air leads in each bay.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to order them.
Yep.
I think the 30th is Thursday, so I'll probably order them Friday.
There's only one or two bays that don't have them.
Yep.
But they're definitely good to
They
have.
won't have it lying through, won't have world spatter going all over it,
I know.
won't get run over by a fork. I know we've had quite a few guns run over by a fork.
Yes, yeah. Which I guess again comes down to the housekeeping side of things, the shed.
That'll be one good thing if we could implement it. Retractable electric leads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
those-
looked at them.
Yeah.
My suggestion was to run them off
The entries.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just so big and heavy to drag around.
We can get the three small ones. Probably about yay around. That's it.
Yep.
We get them trade tools, I think it is, up there.
Definitely something we could look at.
Yeah, like just keep it and clean the tidy at the end, because then saves you wrapping it up, pretty much.
So I think everyone can take personal responsibility for the bay they're working in as far as cleaning up goes. There should be no real dramas there.
Yeah.
We'll look at a rotating roster, but before we do that, we'll see how the Friday cleanup goes,
Yeah.
where we're at after that.
Yeah.
It's a hard one with the kitchen. You have to involve dispatching that. It's not fair we're cleaning the NS up either.
I agree.
So it would have to be in every.
Yeah.
The kitchen,
I mean, it gets a lot of cleaners.
yeah, so maybe we do a Wednesday kitchen cleanup.
Yep.
A Wednesday afternoon. Then it's half.
Like a midweek clean
I
up.
think so, yep.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we should look at is the toilet block. People
Yeah.
putting used toilet rolls in the toilet roll packaging in the bin. They open a new roll and not leave it on the floor behind the toilet.
Yep.
Yeah. Then hate housekeeping.
Right, sweet. Alright, third point, PDRs, documentation.
Yep.
We've had quite a few cases lately of them not being available when we go.
Yep.
I understand from a point of someone who comes from somewhere else, they probably don't realise with our ISO accreditation and our organisational policies, the paperwork that we're expected to provide to companies, because a lot of our work is government.
Yep.
And a lot of our work is military
Yep.
as well. So if we don't have a PDR per section, there's two main things that can happen. One, there's a failure on site, we're nearly 100% liable.
Yep.
And it can also fall back on them.
Yep.
Two, they can reject jobs.
Yep.
If we don't provide that, and that goes to galvanising certs and mill certs, which obviously is not you guys' problem. My problem and the admin assistant's problem, but we don't have PDRs provided with there as a data of welding, gas, wire, all the rest of it. They can reject jobs and send it back to us.
Yeah.
There's some companies that will. Any suggestions?
It's hard with everyone being so busy, yourself included. You know, if it was more free time, whether it be an admin assistant or yourself, as you know how PD actually fill out what's kind of acceptable times and stuff to be filled on there. Maybe besides people, as you're saying, people can't seem to take responsibility and 100% of the time do them yourself. Maybe they need to be checked off when they're handed back in.
So, I'm starting a register as of next year. Basically, this is my first year as supervisor.
Yeah.
I've taken everything I've learned. So next year I'm going to have a register. Now I have that register, you've probably seen that one I made tower requirements.
Yeah.
I'm going to have another one. It will basically be the same as batch records.
Okay.
Except I'm going to adjust all the columns in it. I'll have the batch, I'll have fabricated, welded. Before I sign off on welded, I will have completed PDRs. That will be my ability to check that.
Yep.
I think this problem will be lessened a lot by that.
I agree.
It's hard when you're getting pulled through 30 different jobs
Totally.
and you have paperwork down there.
What we have
So I'm going to take a bit of personal responsibility for that with that. I will not sign it off as welded until I have completed PDRs.
Yep. Yep.
I think that will definitely help. The other thing I would like is people to take a bit more care of the PDRs on the floor.
Yep.
It's one thing to say I'm going to sign it off. It's another thing to hand them out to people on the floor. They get scattered and lost and I have to reprint them well after the job's completed.
I feel you could take a photo of the job after you've done it.
Yep.
Because you can swipe up and put the all the data.
Yep.
Time of the day you've done it.
Yep.
That could possibly help someone if they lose their PDR. And if you have to read yourself.
Well, we are getting diaries again next year. You'll be able to fill in if you don't have a PDR available to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not here, sometimes something happens, sometimes you lose it. You'll have a diary to record it. Jason does well, he takes photos of everything he does,
Yeah,
he does it.
Yep.
Which then, obviously on the phone, you've got date, time,
Yep.
everything.
I know there was talk and kind of murmur of trying to push all of that to go to an electronic database.
Yeah, I'm gonna look back in, I'm gonna have a chat to Phil about that today.
Because obviously that, you know, you're not going to lose an iPad over a small thin piece of paper.
No.
You know, everything is there, then it's already, you know, as soon as you fill it out, it's already uploaded. There's no possibility of getting, I'll take this up to the office tomorrow, putting it on a bench, or losing it, or getting damaged by water unless you drown the tablet.
Yeah.
But obviously that's, you know, a lot more organisation to get that set up.
Yeah.
Cost.
So I think for now, we'll just take a bit more personal responsibility and care of the PDRs on the floor. I'll chase up whether we're gonna go electronic. We are getting a new system in. I'll ask them whether that can be part of it, because they can start setting that up, yeah?
Definitely.
And I'll take a bit more responsibility next year with the Anti setup. I won't clock sign them off as well until I have the complete.
Yep.
Not just when they're on the Ultra.
Yeah. And maybe we can get more of those green binder folders.
Yeah.
And even if we punch the PDRs, we can put them in, or put the sleeves in.
Yeah.
And they're one a little bit more protected, they're a little bit less likely to get lost, so you're not floating around in single packets all over the floor.
Yep.
So it might be something else that may help to a degree.
I feel like that would help me a lot because then I can put a whole 5 stillages inside that whole book.
Yep.
And then I can just go through and pretty much sign every single paper. And then you got like a full 5 stillages there, like one tower.
No, that's sweet. I'll chase that up with the girls today. I should take that out, get a few more of them. Cool. Alright, sweet. Alright, we'll leave it there for now. I'll have a chat to you after this.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome,
Alright,
thank
thanks
you.
guys.
Yeah.